Hey guys, if you love QF's content on our free Sundays and Thursday sessions, then please visit our Patreon page in the description and sub to the Black Kluge tier or higher for full access to not only our bonus weekly Tuesday night shows and the alternate Sunday shows you've been missing, but also to the exclusive episodes not available to the lower tiers. It's roughly the price of one coffee a month, and nobody at Starbucks will make you laugh like we do for that kind of scratch. In addition, when you sub to the Black Kluge tier, you'll get 2 weeks advance access to each Thursday session on Patreon before it makes it to YouTube.
Robin, Ronnie, and Chris DeStefano. Been practicing that name all night. DeStefano.
DeStefano.
Chris DeStefano.
DeStefano.
DeStefano. Motherfucker.
I told you to put that accent on the staff.
Oh.
DeStefano.
Chris is... I mean, this is what happened. How do I not know? Chris DeStefano. DeStefano. So you, Ronnie, and Chris DeStefano are going to have to figure out what this guy's doing. Fuck. Let me say it a couple. DeStefano. Chris DeStefano, you and Ronnie are going to have to figure it out. And here we go again. Chris DeStefano.
No, DeStefano.
Chris, your last name drives me fucking nuts. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. It's nice to meet everyone.
Now it's DeStefano. Okay, right?
Oh,
That's
nice, Robin. DeStefano.
DeStefano. Yes, Robin nailed it. Yes.
Okay.
DeStefano.
DeStefano.
Yep.
Why is that so hard for me? I'm like an idiot. Hey, I got to take a quick break. Tomorrow, Robin, Ronnie, and comedian Chris DeStefano. I fucking fumble that name every time. Chris DeStefano.
Why doesn't he change his name?
Oh, fuck. Those ethnic names. Best to change them for show business. Chris DeStefano. They'll be playing My Freaky Fetish in honor of Cocktober. Wait till you hear.
I'm trying to decide whether I want to win this contest or should I don't want to know maybe I don't want to know what this freaky fetish is.
Fetish? It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, not fun. It's fucking intense, but... Am I not saying Chris's name right? DeStefano. These guys give me phonetics.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Phil Moore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me for this particular happy jaunt down KC memory lane is Miss CA Thomson. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing well. We've got a nice big snowstorm here tonight, so this is a perfect night for recording.
If it's a snowstorm, I hope the inclement weather doesn't actually affect the internet, but it shouldn't, I suppose.
Yeah. No, we should be okay. Knock on wood. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we're dealing with the clip from March 25th, 2004. Again, guys, with the KC Saga, we flip from years to years sometimes. But I suggested to her we do something a little more lighthearted for the coming month, and also as a break in the saga to illustrate that KC also contributed some funny stuff.
Yeah.
And since we do tackle that from time to time, we don't want to get always serious with dirtbaggery and stuff. And this is the episode where he and Artie and Howard all try on the Superman costume from one of the original Superman movies. I think it was Superman 4. If it is, it's the worst Superman movie I've ever seen in my life. That was the one where they filmed it in England. Because you could tell, it was just done on the cheap. Canon Films did it in '87, and by that point, no one cared about the Superman series. They're just getting progressively worse. So there's an auctioneer that comes in because they just show her, and this is let's talk a little bit about collectibles. I know you're a massive fan of the cult and stuff, and I know you love your accessories and certain things.
Yes.
But have you ever Do you know anybody that goes a little over the top with possessing things that are in terms of collectibles? With music, having grown up in the, loving music and collecting music and selling music, that can be an addiction, a massive addiction, overbuying of singles and sets and what have you. But what's the most egregious example you can think of someone going way too overboard with collecting?
So I had a friend who his parents sold their house, and part of them selling the house was that the kids were given X amount of dollars from the sale of the house, so they could do whatever they wanted with. So it was $10,000. My friend, she put it into her car and put some into the bank. Her brother, who was also my friend, bought, I think it was a Superman Edition 1 comic book, literally $10,000. It was in fair condition. Meaning it was ripped and tattered and all these other things. And one of the funniest things, because I was living with both of them at that time, is we were going out to the car to drive to work, and he started walking with us, and she turned to him and said, like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, I'm hopping in to grab a ride to work." And she said, "No, you aren't." She said, "You can ride your comic book to work." And she got into the car, and then we drove off and left him standing there. But, it was this thing. He's early 20s, $10,000 in the 90s.
Oh, it's a lot.
Was a decent amount of money where, sure, buy something fun. Like, no one's saying you can't use it to get a little bit of fun or treat yourself to something. Yeah. But do what his sister did. A portion goes into savings and a portion goes into, but no, all of it right down on the comic book. And then the thing just sat there like this doom and gloom.
Well, there's I talked about this before on the podcast. There was a guy who was hoarding comics, and his collection was worth hundreds of thousands. Absolutely, he'd probably spent a good chunk of change on these things. But then this family hated his collection. The wife divorced him, and took the kids. And then when he died, they got possession of his comics and sold them to make a profit off of his death. Yeah. And I thought that was just some shit karma, because you didn't want any part of those while you were married to him, because it was an obsession, and he had his own secret room. But if it brought him happiness and he was taking care of business, then I don't see why it was a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's that fine line. And some of you kind of know me from speaking outside of just the podcast and stuff, but I've always liked skulls, and so I have a lot of skull things and things that I've had through my whole life. And then I've got lots of Wonder Woman figurines and those kinds of things. And as long as I don't put it over the value of somebody else or something else, then I think there's nothing wrong with it. But I had people that, partners growing up, you'll grow out of it. It's like, no, this stuff actually brings me joy, and I like it in my spaces. It creates good energy for me, and I feel like I'm present in my house through these things. Right. And people can dismiss that. Not everybody has to be that way. I happen to be that way, right?
Yeah. Well, if it brings you joy, if it brings you happiness, I guess that's the key thing. So, but this is something that it's funny that this lady's coming in is from this auctioneer's site called Profiles in History, and I've got a couple of the links set up that we can show some of the items that they've put on the block, and it's pretty amazing what's been sold.
And with this, was his Fartman outfit part of a collection at this point, or was he trying to sell it or something?
This is the thing that confuses me. Like, there's a Fartman outfit on eBay that I'm going to bring up as well, and it could be the same one. I can't remember, because there's the one for the movie, and then there's the original one that he at the MTV Awards. Right? Yeah. And he claims, if the one for the movie was up on the auction block, it makes sense, because he wouldn't have been able to own everything on the movie. Although his own wardrobe, I'm sure he read it written to his contract. I keep whatever I wear, because he's that kind of asshole. Yeah. And plus, who else are you going to outfit in his fucking clothing that's 6'5", 6'8", we all believe, this huge monster, scarecrow. Yeah. But then, there's stuff that was so over the, like, extreme this seller on eBay that has such a collection. It's possible someone collected all this and wasted all their money on it, but the guy's asking $75,000 for a fart man suit. I can't believe this guy's had so much money with the house, basically based on the pictures of the house where the stuff is laid. It doesn't look like it's that expensive of a house. So I don't imagine that person has the money to pay for those things outright, unless they got them for absolutely nothing, or they're consignor for Ralph.
Yeah, like Ralph was sliding stuff out a back door or something to feed his habit. And I don't know.
Or his payment, like Howard saying, you get whatever you can for this, and that'll be that. Yeah. That'll be your payment.
Yeah, and I'm sure written into the riders and stuff that they had, Ralph probably secured most of that for exactly what you're saying. He gets a little bit of cash on the side.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if we're going to show pictures of his Fartman outfit or not. There's going to be a trigger warning, hopefully, before we do. But it is easily one of the ugliest, ridiculous, ill-fitting outfits that any human being has possibly put on.
Well, yeah, and there's a few other things where that's concerned. I'll pull up the original cartoon art from the archive of Miss America, that where he shows like the animation, and it's made to look as gay as fucking possible with huge ass cheeks out like chaps. He has such a fetish for that. Anyway, we'll go into this, guys.
Hi, I'm Lorna Hart. Today I brought the Superman costume from Superman 4, the one that Christopher Reeve wore, with the cape, the ever-important Superman S, and maybe Howard, or somebody else from the station, put this on today and be Superman.
I've been waiting to meet this woman. This is Lorna Hart. She's bringing in the Superman costume from the Christopher Reeves movies that we'll get to try. She told us we could try it on.
He's such an asshole. But you know what? That's such a common mistake. I know people, but it's not people getting confused with George Reeves from the 50s. It's that they just don't know, like they think Reeves is easier to say, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and he is a 79 too.
Yeah.
Lorna, she owns it.
No. Who's going to try it on? You, Fred?
Well,
Artie couldn't get into it.
Well, that's what's weird. I'm bumming out because Gary said there's no way I could fit into it because it's not for a guy 6'5". You'd have to be around Casey's height to get into the Superman costume.
Is Reeves not tall?
6'4". I don't know.
That's what I thought.
According to what she's saying. Hi, there's Lorna, the owner of the actual Superman costume from the good Superman movie.
Okay, so she's not the owner.
From the good. And she's walking in. It's bundled up in her arms. She's dragging it on the floor.
Yeah, I know. It was clear. It's clearly like a shitty piece, one of the shittier pieces they have. If those of you who want to go and check out, see what they've sold, again, we're going to go into it halfway through. We'll show some of the items that went up on the Hammer. And believe it or not, whoever bought the Johnny Carson show set, the chair, the sofa, the chair, and the desk, is offering, like they have it on the website as, if anybody has an offer approaching this much, it's yours. And like including, I don't know if it includes the backdrops or the plants, but it's an amazing piece of TV history. But where the fuck are you going to put it?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you have a plain hanger somewhere where you can designate a corner. And and just thinking about this outfit. So within my discipline, we talk about the perceived value of things and what adds or takes value away from an item, right? Because we make all this stuff up. The fact that she wants Howard to wear this outfit shows it has a lower social value already. She's trying to add capital to it by then stating as worn by on his show, as worn by X on his show, because otherwise it doesn't hold the same sort of value. It's an interesting play with the value of things and what it means to people, and this shows something about that.
On the other hand, wouldn't it decrease the value because you don't want it being sullied by someone shithead like Howard Stern? Yeah. You want it as untouched as possible and as few people to have worn it as possible. So I think it's a piece, this is a very undesirable piece, regardless of how you feel about the original Superman movie. And it's something that you would just go, nah, not that one. I mean, do you want something from Highlander or Highlander 2, the really shitty film, or the less shitty, more iconic film?
for the record, Highlander 2 never existed. So that's
exactly.
That's fact.
No
but
kidding.
You're stating the exact thing. Like, it already has no value. So she's trying to find a way to add value. It's just like Lars from Metallica collecting artwork. And I have these discussions with students. Does that add or take value away from these pieces?
Well, in the comic book world, for example, and I used to collect comics as a kid, and they sometimes a signature would decrease the value of something. It's really, you really have to, it depends on, it's the person alive. Like if Jack Kirby autographed anything, it would automatically be worth a lot more. But there are people, there are collectors that want it pristine, and that absolutely ruins the value. So it depends on what kind of market you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Now, how does she prove that?
No, that's the costume. How do you prove that that's the costume?
Hi. We're dealers of historical documents and Hollywood memorabilia. So we have an entire staff. We do research.
Right.
And a lot of pieces come with provenance, certificates of authenticity, or directly from an actor, a costume designer, a prop maker.
And how did you get the Superman costume?
Take it right into that microphone.
The Superman costume came from a consignor. Obviously we can't release people's names. But
why is that? Why is that obvious? Because they get it illegally?
No, not at all. A lot of people are people who maybe it came from a producer,
right? Maybe
it came from a costume designer, or even from the family, and they just don't want people to know that they're selling stuff.
It's one of the stupidest questions to ask, because there's a host of reasons why. If something is a piece that's, it's an heirloom and the family just wants to get rid of it because, number one, they could be worried that it's going to be stolen. They don't have the ability to really take care of it. They know that it's worth some money, get some value out of it. Someone will get some enjoyment out of it, that kind of thing. There's a lot of reasons to offload things that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, and she's right. Like, the family could be on hard times right now, but they don't want to be seen as though they are on hard. Like, there's so many.
Yeah. Like, I remember in Rolling Stone, and I was 15, and I read about the Hendrix Woodstock guitar being sold for something like $300,000 by some Italian guy who thought he was getting it for like a tenth of that amount, like $30,000, and he got the exchange rate wrong, so he bid on it anyway. So he paid $300,000 or 300,000 pounds. I can't remember, but either way, he sold it. I don't know, 10-15 years later for about $3 million. So I'd say he got his money back. Yeah.
And there's for collector people out there, there's an interesting story of in the province of Saskatchewan, someone found a box of trading cards for hockey players.
Wow.
And within there could be a Wayne Gretzky
rookie
and
card
the box itself is sealed, and it's full of the envelopes of that. And of course there could be multiple Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. And so they initially put it up for auction. I think it was $3.2 million, but that buyer fell through, and I think they just got $2.3 million for a sealed box of those little packages of hockey cards. And now the debate is, do they open it and try and see if they can find rookie card in there or not? Or is the value in the fact that it's like is it Schrodinger's cat or whatever? Like, is there a cat in the box or not? Like, do you open it or
When I was in university, started my first year university, or right when I was graduating high school, there was a thing called Magic the Gathering. It was a role-playing game for cards. It was just cards-based. And when they came out, I remember asking the guy at the store, like, do you think I should buy these as as an investment, whatever? And he goes, nah, I don't know. Like, we don't even know yet. Meanwhile, if you get a box, like an unopened box from that era, it's worth lots of money now. And I would have stupidly didn't buy, thinking that $100 for a box was so much money then. Now it's a steal now. And I could have sold that for, I don't know, probably 10 times that amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to go back in time.
No kidding. Yeah. I would have bought Zoom. I would have bought webcams,
Yeah, Apple, we would have.
Yeah, big time.
Well, it's weird. I was on the internet. I saw someone was selling my Fartman costume.
Do they really have it, do you think?
Yeah, and the guy goes, I was an extra on the movie, or what did he say, Gary? You read it? It's something like that. Like, he was like a sort of an extra or something.
I couldn't even tell, but
he gave a description and said, hey, it's authentic because I was the extra on the movie. And I'm sitting there going, how did he get a hold of it?
Right.
And then, but it's missing the big glowing F because someone else took that. See, so that's how it gets into the hands of the public.
So everybody's
Now his eyes are going shifty. They're going left and right on that one, which is why I wonder about this, because if he did in fact have exclusive rights to his wardrobe, that probably would have included the fart man. I can't imagine he wouldn't want that as some kind of thinking the film's going to be 100 million and people will want that, and Stern fans, because that's what he kept all that shit for.
Yeah, he's got like trailers full of stuff. And before he asked her nervously, is it because they stole it, when he was asking about where they got the suit from. So he's already probably worried that Ralph, could get called out for stealing this fart man suit. And
well, let me see.
Or not stealing,
Fart man Howard Stern. Let me just see if I could find it, because it's okay. Most
we could get a T-shirt.
Yeah, no kidding. Signs. So maybe this guy took his account down, but he did have.
Did you scroll
by it? It's the same. It's the same guy. I'm going to go right into his other items. There's no way that it's not for sale. So shipping highest. Okay, let's see what he's got there. Somewhere. No, he must have taken it off. Yeah. So either someone bought it. I can't believe somebody would buy that fucking thing. But this was the guy. He has. Okay. So up at the top here, signed, autographed. Whatever, he's got a CD that's still in some case, like what he's got lots of signed books. One of these stupid watches.
The watch that they gave,
Oh God, it's the worst looking. It's the ugliest piece of shit.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, let me zoom into that.
Like it was hideous even then. Like I've got old bike chains in my garage that look better.
Anyway, it used to be on eBay for the longest time, and I'd say the person just took it down completely and decided it's unsellable. Because he was asking for, like I said, 75 grand. It did have the F, and I think if it was the original one, maybe someone, I don't know, maybe Howard did want to buy it back. I have no idea. But the value of Howard Stern is so diminished now, I can't imagine him offloading any of that shit for any money.
No, and the MTV one would have had a harness system rigged into it somehow. So it would have been the one off the movie, or one of the ones off the movie. Yeah, and sure, if you could have gotten it rate hot at that time, you might have found someone who would have bought it. Yeah. But it's not going to get any value now. No one wants it. It's a story written by a 12-year-old brain.
Running around scarfing up whatever they can when the movie's over. Huh?
Yeah, like people are just grabbing things. So someone sold it to you, and then someone sold it to a company, and then you bought it from the company.
No, it's on consignment with us.
Oh, I see.
So you buy it, and then they transfer the money to the owner.
No, we're auction dealers, so it's just on.
So even she doesn't know. These two fucking idiots. Consignment means like I've known what that was since I was a fucking teen. It's literally someone's stash, and they need a middleman to sell it, and that's the auction house.
And in the 80s and 90s, and I'm sure they're still kicking around, there was a ton of consignment stores for clothing, etc. that popped up everywhere. It was a big deal because you could get decent clothing at a decent price. And and no commitment from the store owner. Consignment was pretty simple.
Yeah.
Consignment were the auction house selling it.
Okay.
Wow.
A lot of individuals.
What's a thing like this going to go for? What are you pricing it at?
It's $30,000 to $40,000 is the estimate.
Wow.
You never know what happens at auction. You get two people who want it. It could go. We've seen crazy things happen.
Well, you got the cape and the boots.
Let's see what you got there.
It's the whole costume.
Look at this. That's the
cape.
That's the Superman cape.
Looks kind of.
It's always disappointing, isn't it? Well, they really used it.
But I'm just saying, I'd expect it to be made out of something really incredible, or.
No, you see, that's how I know it's real. You see how it's like all that cotton hanging off it and everything? That's how movie stuff is made.
It's just sort
cheap.
of thrown together.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. It's not that it's cheap. First of all, the thing is at this point, 20 years old. It's gonna be tattered and stuff. One of the things I was fascinated with, because I was a huge Star Trek fan back in the day, was getting original props from the original Star Trek, and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I gonna do with it? It's so, I really will look like some kind of douchebag if I have an old phaser from the. We're like, what am I going to do? Use it?
Yeah. I was just gonna. I think it would be kind of cool if you've got the shelf space for it. But
if you get the money, if you're gonna do a whole thing, like for example, like I said, if you're a James Brown fan and you got autographed pictures of Clyde Stubblefield and Jabo Starks and Fred Wesley and James, like if you put them all together as if they'd be on stage, like right in the order they'd be on stage. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. So, but the idea of like getting that stuff, and how much that goes for, that went for on these auction things, it's extraordinary. Whole uniforms from the original Star Trek. Actual, someone owned these and just got rid of them, like Spock ears, originals, like actual Spock ears that, let's say, Leonard Nimoy's son might have put up for auction.
Yeah.
So and then because there comes a point where the value just will never get any higher, and you're best to offload things. So with Howard, that we reached that a long time. I was
going to say that. Yeah, that's come and gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably had a couple of different costumes.
And now that's the shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that looks like the actual one from the TV show.
That was George Reeves. We actually had that costume a few auctions ago. Yeah.
And it has the tights. You step into that. Woo.
Yeah, there's the boots.
I love those boots.
The boots are great.
They're cool.
Yeah.
And
you don't think I'd fit into that?
I think you might. You're 6'4"-ish.
I'm 6'5".
Yeah, we had somebody 6'4" put it on.
And they fit?
They fit into it. Okay.
So this is the perfect episode to bust that myth that he's 6'5". Yeah. If he was 6'5", he should fit into it reasonably well. It might be a little too short, but 1 inch more or less in that situation is not going to make a difference, because Christopher Reeve was, let's make a little look-see and make sure we've got this, Chris, because I know that Wikipedia is not correct all the time. Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, the only difference could be if Howard had his legs were a little bit longer than his torso, or torso was a little bit longer than his legs. Like that fit might be a little bit off, but it shouldn't be super noticeable.
Yeah, exactly. For Christopher Reeve height, it says here he was 6'4", 193 centimeters, and but his physique was slim. Yeah, he was, but he was quite tall. So there's no, if Howard's 4 inches taller, yes, that's going to be a big difference.
Yeah, and Howard's not as wide, or Christopher, like they say, he's slim, but he was still built well.
He built himself up for the film. There's some great video of him. He got the guy who played Chewbacca, like under the suit in Star Wars, was his trainer to bulk up, because he was doing a play when he did the audition. Have you ever seen the original audition tape?
No.
He's a rail. And then they just said he ate like a fiend and trained in the gym and put on like 20 pounds of muscle.
Neat.
Yeah. Old school.
Yeah.
But why don't you go for it, Howard?
Yeah, I'm going to try it on. What'd you say?
What's that mink kind of thing? Superman never wore that.
No.
What's that mink shirt? Isn't that from Huggy Bear?
No. You want to guess where it's from?
What?
Does anybody recognize it?
Lois Lane?
No, it's not from Superman. It's from another movie.
Well, let me see.
Really?
Think hip, cool.
Austin Powers.
Right on.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, yeah.
I don't care about Austin Powers or Dr. Evil.
So you've got a bunch of movie stuff you're auctioning off, huh?
Who wants to try on Superman first?
Artie.
Should I try to? I might stretch it.
You want to, Gary?
Yeah, why not? Come on.
I want to try it on.
When am I ever going to get that chance again?
All right, go put it on. Well, I want to put it on.
All right, so you take it.
I could be Cinderella in the golden and the slipper,
Do I have to go in the bathroom and change into it and everything?
No, you could stay right here.
Yeah, I mean, what's the big deal?
Do you think it'll fit on over your clothes?
I don't know. It won't look as cool.
Yeah, do you want...
What kind of idiot? It's tights. Why would you put it on over your fucking clothes? It's not going to look normal.
And this, again, if this was a piece of American history, right? It's one of many movies, Superman movies, etc.
Right.
But it is still iconic in a way. Yeah. And these guys are like, oh, just throw it on over jeans. And, it brings up, I get anxiety, because look at what Kim Kardashian has done now to 2 Marilyn Monroe dresses.
She's fucked them up, hasn't she?
Yeah, that they've let her wear for whatever reason that even makes sense. They could have made replicas that looked identical and put her in it, and that would have been fine. But they're actually letting these fools walk around with these pieces of history. Like, can you imagine the Shroud of Turin as a Halloween costume?
It would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm sure, it would really protect you from the elements in a fucking, Alberta Halloween weather, fuck. Jesus Christ. Give me 1 second. Let me just go to that. There's the two lots. Let me go to the other one. There's two different ones. Day one. We're looking for day two. Hold on. Yeah, okay, this is day two. Let's see if that might have been the one with the really high-end stuff. Okay, so day two. Okay, Ted Knight, Judge Schmall's shooting script from Caddyshack. That's not very good. Hold on, highest price. We'll go actually to the other one instead. I thought that would have been better. Yeah, we'll go to this one instead. Okay, so Icons and Legends of Hollywood, day one. This is November 14th, 2020. And so, okay, his twins, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jules Benedict signature white shirt. It's a suit from Twins, I think. Yeah. And it didn't go for anything. It's still unsold, but so it's a lot closed. And maybe it was unsold. I don't know. Tom Cruise, Charlie Babbitt wool suit from Rain Man. Let's keep going down. A lot of suits. Eddie Murphy, Prince Hakeem tuxedo.
Eh? You wouldn't look at it and go, and you wouldn't know exactly where that had come from.
Well, let's see. Star Trek, the original series. I know they had stuff in there because it does actually have a good search engine for that. So there's 11 things, best batch, highest. All right. So what do they have here? Ted Castle. That's not much. Jeez, I don't know why that's not. Maybe I should just put in Star Trek. Okay. Sometimes that's all, and that's less than you need. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not great. I thought I saw more things, more expensive things than this. From that price results. That's the problem. Okay, my mistake. Sorry. All right. Best match. No. Let's go highest. Okay. Final Frontier.
See, the concept pieces and stuff would be neat to have. That's neat.
There we go. The original Star Trek Hero Spock radiation helmet. That was definitely a piece from the show. That was amazing. Yeah. What else have they got here? Let's see. Yep, there we go. Star Trek: The Voyage Home. Spock, Vulcan ears. Absolutely. There's a lot of next generation stuff. Original cast autographed. Everybody's got it autographed. Deep Space Nine Klingon warrior uniform. I mean, if you look at the most, let's try to find like Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn. Just for the sake of argument. Okay. Highest price.
Oh, Arthur Miller typewriter.
Yep. Arthur Miller LV trunk with typewriter from Marilyn Monroe. See sold price. Now I got to log in for this, and it's not possible. There's a couple of Andy Warhol pieces.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Some of her earrings that she wore.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
A Marilyn Monroe black silk pleated clutch. Round dining room table. That's the funniest part. Signed "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" something.
And that was one of the dresses that Kim Kardashian wrecked. Was the dress from that?
With her fake ass. Fuck.
Yeah, she tore the seams on it.
Yeah. So anyway, there's if anybody wants to look, you just look up liveauctioneers.com and it's pretty great. I mean, everybody's done that, walk down Pawn Stars Lane and seen what they put, you go to the wormhole on YouTube. Yeah. I really hate that asshole because he's always like, look, I got to make some money. I'll take you for half of what it's worth. And they try to do the negotiating. One of my favorites was when they had, Phil Collin and what's his name, Joe Elliott from Def Leppard come in because one of Phil's guitars was up for someone offered it to sell, and it was painted. Did you ever see that one?
No.
It's great. They actually come in and play it, and they prove that it's one of mine that I painted.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and in the end, they didn't go for it, but it was a beautiful piece. Actually, it was great, and the fact that it was played by the guy who plays in the band in the store would have made it even more valuable.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
You want the whole. You don't want any wrinkles underneath it.
So whatever Superman had in terms of muscles, Chris Reeve brought that to the part. That's nothing in that costume that would make you stand out.
Do you think they put anything underneath his costume?
Well, yeah. I mean, from what I heard, I actually just was with the costume maker yesterday who was talking about she knew Christopher Reeve. But sometimes they do have to put pads and things in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it certainly wasn't. He looked good in that outfit.
He looked good, yeah.
I want to try it on.
Go ahead.
It's just going to take me forever to get into it, and I don't know. Like, people want to hear. They don't want to hear me getting dressed.
No.
Unless I take.
Ralph's not there to help him get into it, of course.
And this is what Beth has to live with every day.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Take a commercial break.
How do you? Let me see that the uniform again.
It's like a bodysuit.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. You got to step into that. Is it got a zipper up the back?
No, it looks like a lot of work.
Oh, but don't forget the tights that go under it.
Right. Where are those?
Oh, they're right here.
Did anybody watch that? I don't want to wear Christopher Reeve's ball sweat. You know? That's pretty cool, though. I really would like to
I'd
put on
like
my...
to see you in that. You got to get into
I
it.
bet I look good in it.
Take a commercial break.
All right, I'll go change into it. I'll be right back right after these words.
What has to happen is this ties under the arms
Oh, I
and
see.
in the back, around his back, and then pull this up over the shoulder because the whole concept was that this stuff didn't show.
So wait a second. What goes first? Snap
Snap,
first?
and then
Snap
tie
first?
this under his arm like this behind the back, and then see how that's why the cotton's up here. You kind of pull this like over the shoulder.
Got it. Okay. That's great.
Okay, we're back. Here's Howard in his Superman persona. What's that? Is it a bird? Is it a plane?
So there's no way he's been lying about his height the entire time because he always wants to appear shorter, unlike most people in Hollywood that want to appear taller. I mean, if that thing is built for 6'4", it doesn't matter. That material doesn't shrink. It's not meant to.
No, and keep in mind with this too, Robin kind of alluded to it, and I don't know if people are paying attention, but it's two pieces, right? It's a bodysuit and then it's leggings separate.
Yeah.
So this is, it's not like it's one piece. So if the legs were too short, it would ride up on him or whatever. The leggings go on nice, and then now he's walking out like he's some prom queen.
Yeah.
With his
Me? Jesus Christ.
No, it's Super Howard.
What a dumpy ass.
God. Yeah.
Well, I like this sort of off-the-shoulder Superman.
Yeah, it's sort of a sexy look.
First of all, it doesn't even come close to fitting me.
I don't even think he bothered to try to get it over his shoulders, to be honest with you. It should have gone further up than that.
No, and look at the bunch from his boxers. Like, does he wear boxers that go down to his knees?
I think so, yeah. God, they're like sumo diaper or whatever.
They are.
Look at my underwear all bunched in here.
Oh, my goodness. Christopher Reeve was that small?
Look at me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks like
I can't even get the shirt on.
Lord.
And
I gotta go back and look. He looked like a big, hefty dude.
Yeah, well, evidently I'm bigger than Christopher Reeve. How did Christopher Reeve fit into this?
Okay, real quick, I'm going to go get into that workout video where Christopher Reeve is, and this is for the original Superman. He didn't really change too much until, well, obviously got into a wheelchair and his body atrophied. But give me a moment, and let's see if I can get this correctly. Okay.
So, and with this suit too, I mean, I'm surprised Robin is surprised it's a two-piece sort of suit. Anyone who is in dancing or anything at this time would know how these bodysuits and leggings and stuff went on. So Robin, in theory, should. And I was also a speed skater at this time, so I know the Lycra that was being used.
Yes.
If it would have been early 70s or early 80s and mid 70s, the Lycra wasn't good. It didn't stretch very well. We're talking 87. This stuff is four-way stretch. It's really giving and it's generous in how it will fit you. So yeah, it shows that he's a liar.
Yeah.
The point is that when I started, I was a string bean, and Superman's not a string bean. So already on this diet, I eat 4 times a day. I tell you, I'm on a meat diet, protein diet, vitamin pills, nothing like steroids or anything like that. But I mean, I get to eat as much of as anything that I want, and it's great, you know. The thing is that on this part particularly,
and he was working out specifically just to get the shoulders and arms as big as possible. Yeah. And he really was a rail. Like, he was just doing a play at the time, and they decided, you look perfect, but you just got to fill out.
And he's got that ideal V. But I was going to make a joke. He's on a high meat diet, and so is Howard.
So is Howard. Perfect.
You have to start from the outside and work in. You can do all the interior work you want to do, and it's not going to get you to Superman if you don't have the physical strength to go with it. The thing that happens is that the stronger I get, and I'm still not all that strong, but I'm getting there. The stronger I get, the more it helps my mental attitude towards the part. What sets Superman apart is that he has the wisdom to use his power for good. He has all these powers, but he's got the kind of maturity, or he's got the innocence, really, to look at the world very, very simply, and that's what makes him so different. When he said,
anyway, I just love that, the fact that he went method with that and decided, I'm going to go all the way. Now, he does look a little bit slimmer here for this than he was in the original film, which was, of course, about 8 years earlier. But he still doesn't look, like he's completely out of shape. The Howard, on the other hand, who's had a shit body for the longest time, that you remember all the bullshit about the private parts poster, and clearly photoshopped, and not the movie one. I'm talking about the book.
Yeah, I mean, look at how he presented himself on posters, on book covers, etc. Howard, not Christopher, and then you see him standing in studio looking like a tapeworm. Like what's
like larva.
I love your little paunch.
Isn't that great? My belly's sticking out. Well, that's because my fat is being squeezed.
I mean, the off-the-shoulders thing, you look like Gretchen Mol at some award
I look
show.
like Rachel Hunter.
And look at how he's sashaying in that moment there. He's pretty proud of it.
Yeah, he loves it.
It looks like Super J-Lo, not Superman.
Kathleen Turner.
All right, I got to get out of this now that I've made an idiot out of myself. So where do you get the Superman outfit?
From a consignor who's
I mean,
where's what auction is it and when?
If they want to get an auction.
If you go to profilesandhistory.com, the entire catalog is online. You can see photographs and descriptions of every item.
Wow.
There's over 500 great pieces of Hollywood memorabilia.
All right.
I'm even looking at Superman's ass. You don't even have the ass for the costume.
Well, not only, it doesn't help that my boxer shorts are bunched into this thing.
I know. You got major panty line.
I know. Gary, figure it out. You don't have a microphone on, and Scott's not going to pay attention to you.
I would like to see Artie or KC in it. Do you think
you would? But then now I've got to change.
Go ahead.
Wasn't Howard into cycling at this time?
It was earlier. I would say, I'm going to say 8 years earlier, even more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he goes through all these different phases, but how can you be, into road cycling and that kind of stuff and not ever develop an ass?
Well, he was into jogging, which jogging now it'll be great cardio. It won't necessarily be something to boost your glutes or whatever, but your calves and your overall weight will just reduce. But again, jogging, not sprinting. Sprinting will do wonders for your thighs and your calves and your arse, basically. But let's keep in mind he's over 50 at this point. He's like 51, 52 years old.
Fair,
I think he's just hitting 50. I can't remember. But again, it's the frame. Certain things, like there's just no way he's 6'5" if that thing's built for somebody 6'4".
No, absolutely not. He's got to be 7 or maybe 8.
Yeah, because they tailored it specifically for Chris Reeve's frame. It's not like they hoped for it and it's actually for someone 6'2" and he just squeezed into it. No.
This was meant, like, he was supposed to be poured literally into it, so it would have been very custom. And how tall approximately is Beth?
They say she's 5'11".
Yeah,
and
she seems,
if you look at a picture of the two of them, she seems shorter than that.
Yeah, a lot shorter. And also she's often wearing heels, like when they're out, not when they're home, obviously, but often she's wearing heels, and she still seems like this little micro person beside him. And he's hunched too, right? And that's another sign that he's taller than 6'4".
Yeah.
Is that he's got that natural tendency to kind of curl into himself because there's no room that's appropriate for his height, right?
Yeah. Sloucho.
Change out of it, and then Artie. I don't mind if Artie gets in it, but
how's he gonna get?
I can do it quick.
Artie could probably fit into this better than I could.
I mean, height-wise, I mean,
does it stretch?
It stretches.
Or I'll go in the bathroom and change. Hold on.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Give me some remote headphones. Take them off your head.
You got a wire there.
The price tag is still on it, too.
You never even bothered with the cape.
Forget it. I can't even fit into it. Wait till you guys see this.
Oh, that's too funny.
As far as it goes. Hold on, wait. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be great, changing out of my...
Oh, what a great visual instead. We got Benji in a thong sitting down. Crying out loud.
How do you plan to change now, holding on to everything?
This was a bad idea. I can't hear you anymore. Hey, why don't you just do a couple, like do two or three
two more
commercials and I can change out of this.
All right.
Quick.
That Superman costume's fun, but I wish I could fit into it.
And what kind of underwear are you wearing?
I'm wearing Calvin Klein boxers. It doesn't fit under tights.
Yes, I didn't know you wore boxers.
And I wasn't going to, take off my boxers because who knows who's had that costume on.
Yeah, and you don't want to be next to that.
Yeah. I mean,
why would you care if it's you're polluting it for someone else? But but you should not be doing that. That's rude. The idea that this lady was in, I mean, I found it interesting that they were going to bring in this piece, but I would have thought they were going to bring something else in as well, like an actual prop. You know, physical prop, like a gun that was used in Tombstone or something like that.
Yeah, it would have been better to show a range of things. And I'm sure after she left, she probably questioned a lot of her life decisions that she made, given how this went, because it wouldn't encourage me. If they're being this disrespectful to this suit, why would I want to buy off of them?
Yeah. Well, the one thing back in the early 2000s, I remember, because I was eBay crazy back then, mostly for bootlegs and what have you. But then sometimes I would go, let's see about movie memorabilia, what makes its way up there. And one of the big, small, cheap, but, still a little expensive items was the a bar of Fight Club soap. As used as shown in the film, that kind of thing, or money, like the eventually the bad motherfucker wallet in Pulp Fiction, that kind of stuff, and certain things would absolutely be still, they'd have a cultural value that would, before they go into the Smithsonian or something, they would fetch a lot of money. Prince's stuff, before they made Paisley Park into a museum, his outfits, because over the years, tambourines used on stage, guitars, that would be big ticket items, even before he died.
Yeah, and I've got a Prince stand-up, actually, that is tucked away somewhere. It should be in the garage, but that those kind of neat sorts of things. And from the cult collection, I've got autographed different things from them, but I also, in one of their videos, they had a wall of beer cans that had the Cult Electric logo on it, and then Billy Duffy comes up and he kicks it and the beer cans go flying.
That's right.
Well, the rep he said, I can give you the beer cans if you want. He said, but they're just, you're never going to open them. They're going to get shitty and stale and break or whatever. So he gave me a whole ream of the stickers that they use, because they were just put on the beer cans. Obviously, they didn't make a batch of them. So,
Electric beer.
Electric beer. I did have Ugly Kid Joe beer. And being a poor record store employee, actually, I had Pearl Jam too at one point.
How were they, respectively?
It was a craft beer at that time, so actually the beer was better than their whole career, actually, for Ugly Kid Joe.
What about the jam?
The jam was like a marmalade jam. It was actually pretty good, Things you could go back and put back in a jar and sell if you could.
The worst band shit I ever had was in Hong Kong. I tried Trooper beer, the Iron Maiden beer, and it was one of the worst beers I've ever had in my life. And I've had Laker. You know what I mean? I've had Iron City beer. There, I've had all the typical bullshit you have. And I remember thinking, if I was a band and I hinged my career on this product, I'd be in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
But I didn't realize.
Lorna's whole family could have had that thing on. You know what I mean?
Lorna was running around in it last night.
Right. You never know. So
swimming in it.
I didn't know you wore boxers. That was a surprise.
I wear Calvin Klein boxers.
Shameless plug.
I'm like, gee, did he get them for free? I wonder. Yeah.
No kidding.
But
does Steven Singer make boxers?
Or who was that? John Varvatos or whatever.
John Varvatos, yeah.
weird, because with the boxers, I look like I crapped my costume.
I know, it really was like a load.
Yeah, I had like a big load.
You were carrying a load.
And I know, I look pretty funny, though. I had to come out and show it to you. Man. Yeah, Kenny, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, now.
Hey, now.
Hey, man, you got to tell Robin Brzezinski to get this on E tonight, man.
You want to see me in my Superman costume?
I need to see this, like right now.
Wait, Artie's coming out in it now. He already...
Oh, it's amazing.
Thanks. Wait, here he comes.
All right, here's Super Artie.
Oh, see, Artie fits into it, you lucky bastard. You look great. Super Artie.
He's more Superman than you are.
Let me see. Stand over there so I can see you. Wow, it fits you perfect.
And they just still didn't put the cape on correctly. They've tied it around his head like he's underdog or something.
They're gonna choke him. But look how long it is on his legs.
Yeah.
But the top is spread out so much that easily, if Howard was 6'4" or 6'5", that would have stretched up in the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I look like George Reeves.
Right.
That
Like
guy
the
from-
TV Superman.
Wow. Boy, how's it feel?
You know what? I feel very superhero-ish.
Yeah.
I feel fantastic.
See, Artie fits into
We
it.
couldn't get the zipper up, and I couldn't really get the cape snapped on because I can't get the zipper up.
Let me ask you something. How the hell could that be Christopher Reeve's Superman costume if the guy was 6'4" before his accident?
He must be trim and just
No way.
Well, and it stretches. And look at the feet. He doesn't have
So that's the whole point. He would have got it at least. Maybe he couldn't. If Howard was a bit taller, or either roughly the same. If he was just 6'5", he might have missed a couple inches on the zipper, and that's a bit like you can't squeeze it anymore. But it would have fit better than it did. There's no way that's. I think he wanted to. But the problem is, if it fit, then he'd be lying about his height.
Yeah.
So he'd be telling the truth about his height, but I don't know. I'm confused. Like if it.
I think it didn't fit. And so he had to hem it up even more, like make it look ridiculous so that people just didn't really ask him, how can you be almost the same height and this isn't fitting? So he's going to distract by making it completely ridiculous when he walks out.
I guess
because
that's right.
he's slimmer than Christopher. So the width would have gone into the height stretch.
Right.
Robin and Howard can't understand what stretching is.
Well, I mean, and it's not like compression wear. I mean, it's Lycra or whatever the type of spandex that they had back then. And you're right, quality changed drastically. The technology changed drastically over the last 20 years, even for 30 years certainly. Yeah. But again, it would have been top of the line Hollywood stuff. Even if the movie was low budget, the costume designers they can't really. They can't spare anything on the budget because everything has to look correctly what people are wearing.
Yeah, and this would have been 4-way stretch Lycra, which was cheap, easily, readily available at this time. So there's,
Yeah.
Hold it all the way up.
Well,
he doesn't have it all the way up.
I couldn't bend over in these things.
I couldn't even get the shirt.
You've been bigger than Christopher Reeve at that time.
Well, the tights don't even come close to fit me. I couldn't even get them up.
How could he be 6'4" then?
Maybe I'm all legs and he's not.
You want to see if I can get a cab downstairs?
That's a cool costume.
I love it. I really dig it.
You'd buy it.
You should wear it in bed tonight.
I might.
like Superman 10, right? You're ready to film.
Yeah.
You're like Superman after a long night of drinking and eating and not shaving.
He's definitely lost his powers.
I'm Superman. I'm hungover.
Yeah, you're Superman after red kryptonite has taken away all your powers.
He's you know what I'm thinking? He's the when in Superman 3 when he gets that weirdo kryptonite trained on him and then he becomes evil Superman and Clark Kent fights him. He's the one in the bar flinging like cashews at the beer steins. I love that scene.
You've had gold kryptonite.
Yeah, that gold kryptonite will kill you, man.
Yeah, Ralph.
That's going to be so funny. The Artie in it.
Yeah, you should see me.
Dude, how could you not tell me about this?
Artie looks like super slob.
I do look like I look like Superman if he let himself go a little bit.
Superman after 100
Twinkies. Like he got gold kryptonite, which takes away all his powers, and you just, well, what the hell? I might as well eat.
Yeah, let my beard grow.
I gotta say, the scenes where Superman's just talking in this outfit must have been tough. It's hard to be casual in this.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you what a great job Christopher Reeve did. Because you've seen the Henry Cavill, like the late, I don't know if you've seen the later Man of Steel, whatever. I went to see it because, I thought, I loved the original. I thought, let's see what they can do with this. They fucked up with that Superman Returns bullshit, as Bryan Singer did. And the trailer was actually not bad with Russell Crowe narrating. It looked suitably epic and stuff. But at the same time, I go, you're never going to capture the magic of that original Richard Donner film. You just won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, whether you're a Superman fan or not, he got the feeling of the comic perfectly.
Yeah, and that's such a difficult thing to do, and it's either all or nothing.
Yeah,
you never hear anyone say, well, it's no. Either you feel like it actually captured it, or it completely didn't. And it could still be a good movie, but there's something about the comic books for the people who really appreciate those, that it's hard to translate that into films. And I sometimes don't know why they try, but
Neil Gaiman, the author of Sandman. Yeah. He recently got into some trouble over it's being sexually inappropriate with I think who was it, an assistant or just being his wife Amanda Palmer. She left him, I think, as a result of this. I'm not sure exactly the chronology, but it might have hurt the value of Sandman. I have no idea. But he released, they finally okayed the TV show, and there's a series, at least the first season. I don't know if there's a second one out yet, but the first season was actually quite good and very true to the source material. And I said, that's how you do it. Aside from a few casting choices, like suddenly Death is black, not, all white, powder white, like the rest of the characters, which is fine. Like she's a great actress. And it makes perfect sense in the context of the character being everything, like all sorts of people she changes her form, whatever, throughout history. But at the same time, it's why do you make him powder? Why do you make Morpheus powder white, but not her?
And Death is such an iconic character from the original cartoons. Like, I fully support, we know that these characters can be interchanged with other people, just like the Crow. Like, let's be realistic. The Crow wasn't just one person. No. It was more the idea of how he became the Crow, that anyone can, find themselves in that position. So, of course, you could change it up. But to me, Death is, like, when you see a Death statue, it is the pale girl with the black hair, and it's just a striking character. So why would you mess with it?
Yeah, I thought that was a bad choice creatively. In the same way with Preacher, the series, they took a couple liberties with that one, and I didn't like it, but that was mostly bad writing and bad pacing. But with Sandman, I just thought it was a stupid choice. If all of a sudden, William Wallace in the film Braveheart, which, they made him, Denzel Washington the lead. It doesn't fit.
No, yeah.
Yeah. In the same way, you can't have Ralph Fiennes be Malcolm X.
Yeah. And if you introduce the character in original form and then have some reason as to why the transformation happened, fine. That's great. But just right off, no.
One of my favorite little stupid Hollywood explanations during a film was there's one of the early Van Damme films where he's obviously a cop, and he's on a he's staking out some convict or something, and then he's on the walkie-talkie with some guy, and he goes, "I'm almost there." And they go, "Hey, you can't go in by yourself." And I don't care. He's right there. I'm taking him, whatever, in that accent. And he goes, so and so. This is New York. This isn't Canada. To explain his accent. And I thought, guys, come on, you can do better than that.
Yeah. Did you see where it was a fairly famous when it was happening, when Crispin Glover sued the Back to Future production team, I guess, at that time, because they didn't include him in was it the second one?
It might be.
They actually, because when they aged him in the first one, they'd made a cast of his face and made different older masks and stuff.
Right.
So in the next one, when he comes back as this older character, Crispin wasn't hired for that position. And they said his demands were too much. He said, no, they weren't, but they just didn't want me. So they hired another actor and took that mold.
The same mold.
Yeah, and put it on his face, on that actor's face.
Well, and that's a likeness infringement. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, this was at that time a big deal that this guy it's not a big deal. You didn't come and act in the movie, so why are you trying to do this? But in light of AI now,
yes,
he laid some pretty good foundations to say, listen, you can't be taking my likeness and pretending it's me. And he said, the way it was acted is not how I would have acted it.
Yeah.
And he said, and people think it's me, and I have to carry that all the time now.
Absolutely. It was like Norm saying, you're going to get somebody who sounds like me to do my looping for me, and what if the guy sucks? You're like, no, I'll just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned that, because Steve Marriott, there was some story that they were trying to get some Humble Pie recordings with AI Steve Marriott vocals, which is bullshit. Cheetah Chrome, the guitarist from the Dead Boys and Rocket to the Crips, he okayed AI Stiv Bators for this so-called whatever this thing is, and I think it's a travesty. Putting AI vocals out there, I think it's bullshit. Kelly Carlin, she said she did not approve of her dad being used as AI George Carlin in the future. That I don't like it. The only way I think it works is if there's some audio glitch in the original recording and you want to try to fix a vocal, let's say, I think that's acceptable. Or if you want to use AI to separate a part and get rid of like a horn section, or the way Bob Ezra, let's go with Phil Spector. Phil Spector produced Let It Be, the Beatles' Let It Be, but then McCartney came out with Let It Be Naked years and years later to get it just down to basics instead of the wall of sound stuff. Mm-hmm. And I like both versions, to be honest with you, but I grew up with the Phil Spector version, so that's the one I prefer. Yeah. And I think that's interesting. I think because some people may want to hear that as some kind of like demos before and after, that kind of thing. There is a market for that.
There is, and it's as we move forward with AI and generative AI in all fields, right? We have to be very cautious about how we tread on these things. And I think, in a theme park, going in and seeing Tupac concert in a theme park or something would be interesting, but then to roll it out as actual tracks and actual concerts and stuff, I get uncomfortable with that because it seems to be playing around with it a little bit too much. I don't know.
It's barrel scraping at some level. On some level, like when Natalie Cole did that with her dad, I thought, fuck you. This was a heroin addict, and this was like they decided to throw this against the wall and save her career. And what sells, and she was never a great vocalist. She was nothing like her father. She was saddled with her dad's, name, but she wasn't as talented as he was.
No, and that thing sold like crazy.
And I thought that was bullshit. I didn't like that. And I also didn't like when Freddie Mercury, although they did excavate a lot of bullshit from his solo album to make that last Queen album, Baby in Heaven. And it was okay, but you could tell that was barrel scraping. Same with the Beatles, that anthology. They dug up those two songs, or they decided like they're going to use these outtakes from Lennon's solo period to turn them into Beatles songs. And Len and I, there's a new one that they put out not long ago. I can't remember, and it was awful. It's one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever heard.
Like just let it be. Let it be.
Exactly.
Well, they probably get your package doesn't exactly look impressive in that either. Like you can see Artie's package.
What? You didn't have.
Why would you mention that?
Why?
We know why. The same guy who walked into Artie's room in his house when he was, said it tried to walk in, but it was locked. Yeah, I love that.
Good thing Artie locks doors.
That's to show either.
Honey, that was not my package you were seeing. That was my underpants rolled up.
Where was the package?
Yeah, this is like an embarrassing.
You know why you couldn't see my package?
Uh-huh.
Because the the tights only came up to about my thighs.
Oh. All right.
No.
Bullshit. No.
No.
Don't buy it.
Nope, they were on. The
digging
tights
this.
were on fine. Yeah.
Dude, can you keep her there and let me come over there and put it on?
Oh, get out of here.
Come on, man.
Who wants to see a gay Superman?
Should I give you one of these?
Yeah. So you think that's going to go for about 40,000 or more?
Well, it's estimated at 30 to 40,000. I would easily say it's going to go for more.
More, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it from Superman or Superman 2?
No, first Superman.
No, Superman 4.
Superman 4?
Quest for Peace.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was a horrible one.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I thought it was Superman 1.
Isn't that
Nobody
the one
wants
with
that
Richard
junkie
Pryor?
one.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same costume.
Well, it's probably better because they got worked out the kinks.
Artie and Aaron, they were trying to pull the suit up, and Artie's like, "Look, dude, don't rip it because I'm not paying 40 grand for a Superman."
Yeah. But doesn't Artie looks like he's actually excited, and he's like a kid in a way being in the suit. He's absorbing it and he's enjoying it. And then Mr. Miserable walks out like a dramatic prom queen.
Yeah. Wah. I didn't have anybody to help me pull it over my shoulders. Wah.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, it's like, you'd think the Superman costume is really cool. It's like, it looks like it was put together for 2 cents.
Right. It looks like, some high school production Superman costume.
But you're right when you say that's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything is fake in the movie.
I don't have the boots on, Ralph, no.
I couldn't get the boots on. My feet are too big.
What size are the boots?
The boots are about maybe between 11 and a 12.
Yeah, I'm a 13, 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, wow, he really is just a freak of a human being, isn't he?
Well, that makes also perfect sense that he might, if he's 6'8", to have bigger feet, like size 13, and if Chris Reeve is 4 inches shorter or 3 inches shorter, to have shorter feet as well. So that's why, he's lying about his height. He's saying 6'5".
Because 11, 12 is still a big. Like most guys hover around 10. 9 to about 10 and a half is a decent normal range of foot
average
size.
range. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
so 11, 12 is on the bigger. Well, kids now have bigger feet, but back then this would have been big feet.
Yeah.
You want to retry the boots on?
You should send Artie down on the street with that, man. Follow him around with the camera.
Yeah, what am I going to do?
I don't know. Go
Is there a belt that goes with it?
There obviously was a belt with the costume, but it didn't come to us. So.
Oh, nobody wants that then.
Well, Ralph's an asshole, but he's right. If you don't have the complete outfit, it's just not worth as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman needs a belt.
Artie, how come you didn't put the boots on?
The most important part is the S.
I was rushing to get out of there. I don't think.
The most important part is the what?
The S, the Superman.
Yeah.
But
Do you have the cape?
Yeah, he's got it on.
Oh.
What was the belt was like yellow or something?
Ralph's like, oh, you got the cape.
Wear it.
See, the boots are cool.
You can't you can't zip it.
Oh, please.
My God, my back hurts.
Artie, you should wear tights all the time.
Artie can't even put it on.
You know what? Christopher Reeve's got small feet. I can't get in these things.
That's what I mean. He seemed like a big guy, but there's a guy on the phone says Christopher.
Even if with the problem with feet, it's such a weird thing, an arbitrary thing, because I have like a quite a wide arch. Even though the length of my foot I'm a size 10, but you do have to, it's why Amazon in a lot of ways, as awful as it is the evil empire, there's people telling you get a size higher or get a half size larger if you're such and such, and that's a great thing with these review sites, that people that take the time to be considerate enough to say, look, I'm a size whatever, and these things are too fucking tight.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I used to sell hockey skates and stuff, and doing the foot measurements, going from narrow. And I think if I remember, the lettering was like A, B, C, D, and then, double D, double E, et cetera, as you went up in width for. Mm-hmm. And so a BC was an average width for a foot. So he could have a very narrow 11, but if Artie's a 9, but he's like a double D or double E, he's not going to fit into it. Yeah.
No way.
For Reeve, it's like 5'10".
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I know you don't want to believe it, Fred.
No, I mean, I went on IMDb last night to see how tall he was, to see if Howard would fit. He's 6'4". He should have fit in the uniform.
I should have.
Yeah. Maybe he's lied about his height.
Am I completely delusional?
Now, it's possible Christopher Reeve did lie about that, because, they lie about their age. David Brenner lied about his age for fucking his entire career. Yeah. But I don't think there's any reason to, because that height also puts you into a category of people that when directors are looking for people of that height, you now suddenly are in very limited company.
Yeah. And we would have heard something over the years where someone would have said, yeah, but he wore lifts in his shoes, or
like Tom Cruise does all the time.
Well, that's the thing, right? So we now have heard this, and also back when he was filming these, people weren't faking stuff like that in the way that they do now. So there's no reason for him to lie about that.
No.
Or don't I look half bad in this?
Dude, look at your ass. It's completely flat in the Superman costume.
See, you need a good ass for that guy.
I don't have a lot of booyah going on.
No.
I do. I have a flat ass.
Yeah, that's why the cape is good for you. That's why Superman wore a cape. He didn't want chicks seeing his ass.
And how about the back hair? Is that working?
I love how the hair is coming out of the
all the hair is, all the tufts are coming out of the Superman costume.
Artie, you should wear that in Vegas.
At the craps table.
Yeah. Now I know why Superman was like a chick. Chicks would have a cape so they cover their ass.
Yeah.
You ever see those chicks?
Who's putting this together? Who puts this together in their head? Now, she's right. It was funny the way she explained it. Those cords are supposed to go under the armpit, and then the cape is supposed to go over the arm, so you don't see the cord over the under the armpit. I thought the cape just goes in the back, like tucked in the back, and stays there somehow. But you also see those little Velcro things at the top of the shoulders. That's supposed to keep the cape in place. Where
to hold it in place and make it sit right on them.
Yeah.
Chicks, when they go run, they wear their tights, but they tie the sweatshirt around, so they cover their ass.
Look at that big ass on Artie's.
Look at that big ass on Artie.
Artie, take the cape down. I want to see the tufts of hair on your back coming through. Look at that. Look at the back.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm Superman.
Dude, you got the flattest ass.
I'm Superman. No, you're not. You're Vic Tayback.
You know what? He better get out of that before he completely misshapes the costume forever.
Yeah, I don't want to have people get a bad opinion of how I look.
Yeah. You don't want your public to see you in that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, dude.
Thank you very much. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks. That's Lorna Hart.
Thank you.
Check out Profiles in History's complete list of Hollywood memorabilia at profilesinhistory.com.
As I'm walking away, try to ignore my super back hair.
You know, gotta love Artie. Jesus Christ, I know it's self-deprecating and fine. Now this is probably the thinnest he was while at the show. Later on, when he started doing coke, he slimmed out again. But he was still heavier than this.
Yeah, he's good looking here. He was always, well, until later. He's a decent looking guy. He's quick witted. He's
You know what? That's the effect of kryptonite. Artie's bald spot looks good with the costume and the tufts of hair on his back.
Yeah, that's the Superman we'd really like to see.
Superman loves his hair. Hey, so long, Lorna. Thanks.
Thank you.
There she goes. We're keeping the costume. You're not going to get it back. We want the 40 G's.
Lorna.
Yes.
What did you think of our Superman?
About Howard and Superman?
Yeah, Howard.
Yeah. You know, I thought it would fit him. Christopher Reeve's supposed to be 6'4", and they said Howard's 6'5", 6'6", but just he's taller.
That's it. Like that's it. For years we've been trying to put together the definitive. I'm sorry to keep harping on about this, guys, but it's been a content because everything about Howard is a fucking lie. It's been a contentious thing. Like, how do you prove he's not 6'5"? Well, on the Magic Johnson show, he stands up next to him. He's almost in the same perspective, the same line as whereas Magic is standing, and Magic's supposed to be 6'9", and I believe he is, because he is enormously tall.
Yeah, and they do a lot of body measurements and stuff. He's not lying about that. Like, he couldn't sneak it. Yeah.
Not by the NBA, no, certainly. Yeah. And Howard's standing next to him, and he's just a bit shorter, except that the hair it makes it look like he's taller. But where you do compare it is the nose. Mm-hmm. Right.
And again, he slouches. He's always hunched and slouched.
He's definitely taller than 6'5", and that's the big problem. He's lying about that.
What about Artie? He really did not look like a Superman.
He did. He fit a little bit, but he really did not look. Maybe they'll make a new Superman movie with a new vision of a new Superman.
Who looked better?
it's hard. It really didn't fit either one of them. I mean, Howard is tall enough and statuesque enough to really pull Superman off. You know, Artie just didn't look like Superman.
I looked a little overweight, quite frankly. I felt good. I felt sort of superhero-y, but I got a bit of a gut, and it really showed in the costume.
He's got to be eating too.
Yeah, I had back hair. I couldn't zip the zipper up all the way, and my back hair was sticking out, and my double chin was sort of, the hair from my beard and my double chin was getting caught in the front of it, and my ass looked flat, and it was gross, but I'm working on it.
You'd probably be too heavy to take off on that flight there.
Yeah, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go leap a tall building in a single bound.
That was fun.
You should have let KC get in it, but that would have completely annoyed me.
Yeah, because KC might have been able to wear the costume.
Hey, KC, put on the Superman costume.
Let's see what a Superman really would look like.
Hey, what does that mean?
Oh, sorry.
So, Artie. Dude, go get in the Superman costume.
All right, I'll try it on.
Yeah, let's see how you look at it.
Guy who's in shape get in.
I bet you look really hot.
Yeah.
So this
Right
is
away.
like, as if we don't know that Howard's been trying to gay sexualize KC for since forever. But don't you find it funny now in retrospect, with knowing what we know, like listening to all the audio, that all this sounds just creepier? I mean, it sounded creepy then. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's even more obvious that Howard's, straight, not a straight man.
Well, it's gone from being creepy to predatory. Like
Yes.
once you understand, you see the grooming, like you can see all the really darker aspects of what he was saying. These aren't just awkward, uncomfortable statements. There's a reason why he's laying foundations, and he's literally grooming him.
Yes, he's doing his best anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, how many people tried this thing on?
Oh, keep your underwear on.
Dude, I got all paranoid too. Don't worry, I got the same sickness you do. Just put it on. There's nothing going to happen to you.
She just came from the Curtis and Kubi show.
Yeah, you probably get like crabs.
There's no crabs. It's
I'll
like
try it on.
Crabs. You should be
Go
so
take a
lucky.
shower.
Hey, go take a shower afterwards. Dude, don't worry. I promise you, you'll be fine.
I got crabs from a Superman costume.
I just had it on. I just itch a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
Put KC in it.
My back's getting a little red.
Now do the whole thing, Casey. The shoes and everything.
To do the whole outfit.
I can't wait.
You know what?
What?
This is worse than I thought.
Why, he looks good in it?
It's just everything.
It
fits
was like
a glove.
perfect. It like went on like
ready?
it should.
I was born to be Superman.
Are you
Damn
ready?
it.
Yeah, let's
Let's
see.
do
Boots the whole thing. Come on out, Casey.
Come on out, dude. Wow, look at this. Look at this guy.
Oh my God! You know, we shouldn't have done that.
That's what Superman looked like.
But you knew that before he went in there, it would be fine.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's bulkier, he's definitely like bulkier, stockier than Christopher Reeve. That's what that material is meant for. Like, it literally will make allowances for someone who's, more muscle bound, I suppose.
Yeah.
And even if he is quite a bit shorter, then that's fine too. You'll just pinch the material a little tighter together in certain parts, whatever, like at the knee or something like that, or down into the feet, and the boots cover it.
Yeah. And he's, his legs are bigger than what Christopher's were. And it looks like he's thicker in the top. He isn't that narrow V and stuff.
Right.
But it fits him, right?
That's right. But he also made the attempt to put the fucking thing on, not like Howard did.
Yeah.
Like in
And
the movie.
if you didn't have your underwear on, it would look good.
Right.
See? If you didn't have your underwear on, fuck off.
Sometimes some of that stuff, it goes so quick.
Yeah.
And just think about, you hear that every day when you're at work.
Yeah. Multiply it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On days when there's no Superman outfit, something else is happening.
Take off your underwear.
You devil, you.
Look at you, dude.
And look at, he wants to stand in the pose and everything.
Wait a minute. You know what?
Me.
You know what? I'm putting my jacket back on.
Yeah, you see, that fits you, dude.
Wow.
Yo, this thing is tight, bro.
Everything fits you.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be tight, Casey, so we can see.
Nice.
Let me see his ass in it.
Turn around. Lift up your cape.
See?
Yeah.
Booyah!
That is just the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
You know, I was trying to help Artie on, and we were afraid we were going to tear the costume.
Right.
Casey, like you put the shoe on, poof, it slips right
like
in.
Cinderella.
It was like that. Yeah.
Look, even the cape is on right.
Oh yeah, look at it.
Gary's good at it. He puts it on.
Yeah.
Gary's a good dresser.
Well, you know what? He should put up a split screen of like me.
The three of us.
Three.
That was
before, after, during. Like this is like the cycle of show business. Like this is when you get hit big, and this is when you're on your way out, and this is when you've gone to weight, you've gone to seed, like how Artie, and all of a sudden you're emaciated and you just decay into a long box.
It's like a drug commercial before and after.
Before and after, yeah. Just don't do drugs.
It's creepy when Gary was helping me because he was like, it's like really close. We were very close.
I had to put the snaps on the cake.
He's your dresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's your manservant. Well, dude, you look good. Did you stuff something in your package?
No, I got nothing in my package.
Wow.
Gary been in
See, anybody deciding like there's still some naysayers on fucking Reddit. They're idiots. They're just retarded. Like that many pointed references, like direct references to his crotch or his dick or his underwear. Take off your underwear. Let's see.
Get naked.
Get naked. Why don't you take a shower afterwards? Whatever. It's disturbing.
Yeah, like we could get a bell and ring it every time, but then we'd have a callus on our finger. We'd have to explain to people.
Yeah,
because he's something,
dude.
I'm glad he did this last because I wouldn't have got in it.
Me neither. Yeah, I got
KC, could we now fly away like that whole scene?
Let me go right back, just real quick. Okay, like also look, they're going straight down to the package, and it's almost like the Howard TV guys they know this is what Howard wants to see when there's a replay.
Yeah, they're screenshotting it to put in his little secret file that he takes home.
Yeah, absolutely.
KC, could we now fly away like that whole scene with Lois Lane?
I got to, Robin wants to fly off with you.
Nice.
Does he know? What's that speech she gives?
I don't even remember.
She goes, does he know I'm thinking of him? Does he know how much I care?
See?
Howard wants to be fucking Margot Kidder.
Yeah, like he's singing it jokingly, but not really.
No, he isn't. I don't think it's a joke.
Does he know? That's you ought to say that to Casey.
Does he know I'm a lunatic?
I'm thinking of him. Does he know how much I care? Does he know how much this means to me to be with him?
I feel like I'm at some kind of like gay costume party.
Hey, Casey, go up on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fly. Casey, go up on the roof, see if you can fly.
Nice.
I'm flying. I feel like Don Zimmer.
Casey's kryptonite is Wellbutrin. Yeah, all right, dude.
I can't get over this. I'm so irritated.
Yeah, me too.
I knew it would work.
You know what, Gary? At least you didn't get in the costume.
And I never will ever.
There's a vision, we can just imagine with you. We know what we look like.
Yeah.
See, now you know that's what Christopher Reeve was like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, all right, whatever. All right, guys.
Go
Enough.
away.
Get out of my face. You disgust me.
I tell you what, it's very tight. It's like something like my nuts were on a vice.
So you feel kind of gay now?
Yeah, very gay. But hey, this is Superman. This is cool.
But you said Gary kind of got a little too close to you.
It was weird. He was breathing heavy and stuff like that, and he was just like, he's trying to get getting those tights on is tough, And Gary was trying to.
Did he touch you? Did he touch you?
Did he touch me? Yeah, and it felt bad. It was a bad touch, Gary.
Bad touch.
Bad touch. Everything was great, and then it felt icky.
Okay, well, God bless you for being a sport anyway, KC.
Yeah,
I think this is just like, and it's not really a KC based bit, but he takes part. He makes it the funniest because how perfect it fits. Yeah. Guys, we're not finished with the KC saga by a long shot, and in fact, CA is going to help me possibly with some breakdown stuff that Raven. We're pushing steam. We're going to be recording a lot of episodes this week and the next before Christmas, and we're getting caught up with all of the, unlike normal when we're usually like a month behind back in the old days with breakdowns going into the new year, we're going to be all caught up. It's excruciating, but it's all for a good cause.
Part of this, too, is showing the deficiencies of Howard and Robin and these other main characters who really falter when they're put in the spotlight. Like, Robin couldn't even intro when Howard left to put the outfit on. And here's a perfect, wonderful opportunity. Robin's fit in this stage of the show to put on that outfit and come out as this female Superman, which they would have loved and eaten that up. And they could have talked about her hooters and all this other stuff. But she sits behind the glass and doesn't contribute anything.
Nope.
Wow.
She's more than happy to be that barnacle on the show. And as we go further into, because Ben and I just finished Colford Part 14, and Kayla and I are working through the Robin book at the same time. And she, it's just amazing that someone with all this ego really would not. She really doesn't have the Type A personality to go with that ego.
Yeah.
No. And it's not like, I think he's a complete asshole, but James Cameron, for all his bluster, put his money where his mouth was. He recorded, like he released films under his own dime, actually taking a big hit for Titanic. If it had bombed, he would have been bankrupt, I'm certain. Yeah. There's no amount of Terminator films would have gotten him out of that hole. And with Avatar and stuff, he constantly went for something and grabbed it and got it. Yeah. So, he is an obnoxious, arrogant asshole, but he's a successful asshole because he was willing to be A-type and do whatever it took to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Robin doesn't. She expects everything to be handed to her on a platter.
Destiny. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, my dear. And to everybody out there in QF land, we hope you're staying warm and staying healthy. And take care. We love you.
Take care.
I want children.
Oh, no. Can you stop this?
I'm going to poke a hole in all your rubbers tonight.
Oh, you fuck.
I want to have the Stern Empire.
Can't we stop talking about this?
Hey, this is Grandma Stern. I want another grandson.
Grandma Stern, how are you? I know you got hit by a car and died.
Are you talking from heaven?
Are you talking to me from heaven?
Oh, Miss Sugar, it sucks up here.